what do I do with my hands? Because we usually have like a table, so we're just like...
It's okay. This is the cool table.
All right, Nerds at the Cool Table. This is technically episode 37,
but it's episode 1.
It's episode 1,
it
but...
comes down to where we are right now.
Yeah.
Man, we're excited to announce that we're partnering up with
Sideshow
Collectibles.
Hey!
Nerds at the Cool Table. You will see us here once in a while. You'll see us do unboxings and live stuff and stuff on site, whether it's trade shows or anything like that. So I think this is going to be a great look.
I just like being around all these toys.
It feels very natural. It feels
there's an affinity going on.
It's a good place.
I have comic books sitting in front of me, Wolverine's there.
I wish this was my living room.
No, for real.
This is a good set.
Yeah.
But it was such a natural gravitation. Like, Sideshow's such a dope company, and I think aside from us being like Hot Toys fans and Sideshow fans, the company culture here is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And when we first, Jazen introduced us to some people here, and they took us on a tour.
Shout out to Andy.
Anna. And Anna. And one of the craziest things was they treat the artists here like artists.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the most special things about this place.
With very good reason.
With absolutely good reason. I mean, if you've ever
Seriously.
seen one of these masterpieces, the detail is like, it's OD.
Yeah, it's like when you're a kid, you always fantasize about going to. When you're a kid, you always fantasize about going to like a toy factory, and this is like by far the definition of it. And you feel like an 8-year-old kind of getting a secret sort of like glimpse into how everything's made. So we're huge fans of it. We're like extremely excited to be here. Extremely excited to be a part of it with them. But should we get started and kind of introduce ourselves?
Yeah.
So I am David Gallardo. I am a filmmaker, and I've been running with these guys for about 2 years almost.
Very nice. My name is Youssef. I'm a creative director, art director, and writer. I've been in and around music, fashion, and film for the last 15 years, and I like comics.
I'm Julien Edwards. I like comic books a lot.
Long walks on the beach.
I like long walks on the beach. No, I'm pretty much a human encyclopedia for this stuff.
That is a fact.
And I work in music as well, and fashion, and connoisseur of nightlife, I guess. Yeah.
That's what you call your drinking. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Jazen Anderson. I also aspiring filmmaker. I also do a lot of other crazy stuff. They call me the plug, but I also am the database of the podcast. He's the encyclopedia, but I'm the one who can sing the entire theme song to Space Cases,
That's
right
true.
now.
Which we won't do on this
We
one.
won't do it.
No.
It's a one-time shot.
We're not.
You're gonna have to look for it online.
Gotta look. Yeah,
There's footage.
It exists. Yeah. With the star of the show. Yeah.
With the star of the show.
Yeah. But should we give a little bit of rundown of what we're going to talk about today? I mean,
we could definitely
being in this
do that.
fantastic place.
Yeah,
X-Men everything.
X-Men
We're-
everything. As you can see.
We're impressed by our own settings.
Right.
Don't be surprised to just catch us looking around in a joyous state of awe. But this episode, we're using Dark Phoenix as a kind of keystone to have a look back at the great attempts and the other attempts at some of the X-Men films that the previous key holders have had.
Yeah.
Good phrasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great job. Great effort.
Good game, guys.
The other stuff.
The other shit, Should we still? We should still curse. We curse.
Yeah, we curse. That's what we curse.
Okay, yeah, we curse. That's what we do. I don't know. It just feels fancy.
Don't say some vile crap.
No, I'm not.
Wow, look, I even just censored myself. I said crap.
I haven't said crap since the 90s.
Mother, father.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's kick it off.
What did you think of Dark Phoenix?
Oh, we're just right into it?
I'm
You know
not
what?
scared.
Am I starting now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You said you know what and commanded all our
You're
attention.
Right. I thought it was fine. It was a fine movie. Like I feel like a lot of the reviews of the movie were outrageously terrible, where it was like, wow, this is how they're ending it off. But when I went to see it, I thought the movie was a movie. It was fine. Like, and I think the problem is we're not okay with movies just being fine.
Right? No, we've had that conversation before. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay for movies to be mediocre.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, if Dark Phoenix came on cable, I'm probably gonna let it go ahead. And I'll tune in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think after movies like Endgame and Infinity War, it's kind of hard.
Spoiled.
Yeah, we're a little spoiled.
The movie has to be incredible or else it's awful.
Yeah,
I think that's a really dangerous precedent to set.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's fair, and especially with some experimental properties. And we want room for people to try stuff, and we want people to explore different storylines and different books that maybe haven't been thought of as much. And I think it's pretty harsh how people looked at this film.
No, but looking back at it, I saw it and I thought it was a fine movie. It was entertaining to
We'll get into more detail, but I just want to see yeses and nos. Jazen?
Yeah, same with Julien. I was going into it I actually kind of let the reviews kind of dictate. I was ready to kind of be like, oh man, like
that's terrible.
But then just going through it, I was like, wait a minute, this isn't as bad as people think. So that's why I'm so glad we're in this space because we get to give our own opinions.
I think I'm on the island where I hated it. I really did. I did. I'm sorry. Like, it's not like hate is a very strong word, but
which you chose.
Yeah, no, exactly. I did. But it was one of those instances where like I kind of left the theater the same way as Julien. Like, it wasn't bad. But then as I was driving home, I was just getting progressively angrier and angrier that by the time I got home, I like group messaged these guys. I was like, I hate it. It was terrible. But it was one of those instances where like, I mean, we'll get more into it, but like one of my biggest frustrations was like, there was like a battle scene where it's like, how do you shoot an X-Men battle scene in close-ups and mediums? Like I could not tell what was happening. And it was just something about the direction of the entire film that everybody just looked bored. And it was like, and it frustrated me because like, how is this the send off you're giving like almost a 20-year franchise?
Yeah. But I don't think they looked at it like that. I don't think they looked at it as like the bookend to sum everything up, even though it is.
Yeah, right.
I will agree with you that I feel like the film got in the way of a lot of good actors in it. I think a lot of people that are supremely talented in this movie didn't really get to do their thing.
Yeah.
And that's, but
what did you think?
I thought it gave us a lot of fun stuff. I thought one of the
he's like fun.
Yeah, he's like,
what did you see that was fun?
What fun? Here's one thing.
Do it with the braids.
We'll get into that. Hold on, we'll get into that in a second.
The dude with the Shamar Moore wig really bothered me. I'm gonna come clean. But
yeah, continue. What you were gonna say.
First of all, we saw Professor X kind of fight. And I thought that was really cool because you forget that 90% of these battles could be solved by him making the villain beat themselves up. And he sits back and sends children to do it. So,
because he's a masochist.
Yeah, he has a little bit of ego problem. But I think that was really dope to watch him kind of control in the middle of a battle. Yeah. I thought it was hilariously mean.
The one in New York, right?
Yeah. I thought it was mean that she made him walk. It
was fucked up.
Okay. That's not politically correct by any standard.
I guess that was the point, right? It was to show him how fucked up she is and how just dark she's fallen. How dark she's gotten.
Again, I wish she got to act more, and I wish some of the other peripheral characters got to do their thing because I think she could have had a lot of fun.
Oh my God, yeah.
With Jean.
Sophie Turner.
Talking about Jean. Okay.
Yeah.
Sophie Turner. I think we could have had a lot of fun with her arc, and we've seen her acting chops in other places. So that we saw Beast fight a little bit. I felt like that was fun.
Nicholas Hoult definitely got to do.
He's always great though. Like Beast is always one of those characters.
He doesn't really get to do much.
He's always great, but he's always a victim of the Beast he's given.
Yeah, this is probably the most arc he's had in any of the movies. Literally, he's just there and he's transforming.
He was willing to kill.
That's what I did like. That's what I did like. He actually was a beast.
Oh, so you didn't hate the movie?
Yeah.
I liked aspects of it. I didn't hate, but I did hate. I didn't like it overall.
My thing with the X-Men is like where I came into like
comics.
Mm-hmm. So I kind of hold them at a high regard. But with the X-Men movies, I have it at a like. I always go in there with pretty low expectations. Yeah. Like I'm just like, all right, it's an X-Men movie. Like when, as this movie was being made, I didn't really have any expectations for it. Yeah. So that's when I saw it, and the movie came on, and it's starting off with this space thing, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of this is different. This is kind of fun. This is like some actual X-Men type stuff. So that's why I was like, it's not that bad. But
that's
then there was
I felt too. Yeah, at the beginning.
But then there were certain things that were happening, like some of the braided guy, that character that
hated him
out of nowhere.
Weird ass power.
Is that an actual X-Men?
No, that's not an X-Men.
Okay. So they created him just specifically for the movie.
All the mutants that they have, and they created this guy that is just kicking Storm's ass with like extensions.
With his extensions.
Flipping his hair back and forth.
Fucking weave, man.
Wait, what was his name? I don't know.
I don't think he did. They never said his name.
Weave man.
Extensions. Yeah. I'm gonna call him that.
Yo, extension sounds like a Marvel name.
What is he? What is he at the end of it?
Extensions. Yeah.
Oh my god.
He worked at a hair salon, and then he got the mutant gene.
Is that remember the trailer that they killed Mystique, and then in the movie, hey, they killed Mystique.
They did.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we're really not gonna.
I mean, they basically told us they were killing Mystique in the trailer. They said, "Why did you make me do that to her?" That is like
that's honestly the best way to get out of a contract too.
Yeah, she was done with it anyway.
Yeah, that was her. Like,
she didn't even go for the full day of makeup. Just do my face.
Yeah. You ever notice her scales get less every movie? It's like 8 on this last one.
Quicksilver was out of there quickly too.
Yeah, that was another thing. They didn't use him like they've used him in the previous.
He didn't even get that
that one sequence.
He always gets that one sequence. I guess that was that thing in the beginning in the space where he was like, that was it.
It was also dope to see kind of Jean's power with his, as he like was trying to run towards her and she could still kind of keep up with him. Yeah, that was a fun little.
Going back to what final scene were we talking about? Where is it, the train sequence? Because I actually thought the train sequence in the third act was kind of good.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, is that the one?
That's the battle.
No. The one that I didn't.
The final. Is that
Nightcrawler? The one that I didn't like.
Which made no sense.
Which one?
The one I didn't.
What'd you say?
I was like, why is Nightcrawler going crazy?
It was out of nowhere, but
the one that I didn't like was the one right before Professor X, before she makes Professor X walk. Where they're outside in New York, and then Magneto pulls the train into the street for absolutely no reason.
Oh, okay, that's the one you're talking about.
That's his power. He wants to like.
No, but it was just like it was just shot so weird, and I'm like looking at it as a filmmaker, like I started watching it like an audience member, but it was so distracting. Like the flaws were so distracting that I started to analyze it like a filmmaker. And that film, it was just so frustrating. Where like all the battle scene was all shot in close-ups and mediums, and how are you going to shoot an X-Men film that way? You know what I mean? So do
you find that hard to do? Do you find yourself always kind of switching to filmmaker mode? What was the last movie where you just watched it as an audience member all the way through?
Endgame, yeah. Even the multiple times
because we don't know how none of that shit works. We're just like, all right.
But I mean, it was one of those things where you're just like, this shouldn't look like this. Yeah. It felt like. Honestly, I was surprised that the train sequence at the end was a reshoot. This felt like a reshoot.
I liked the train sequence a lot.
The one in the end, right?
The one at the end.
That one was great. It was done very well. Yeah.
Even when Magneto was using his powers, when he was like crushing them, and I thought that was all dope. Or when a dude was jumping at him and he put his hand through some metal and broke his arm or something like that. I thought that was really all of that was dope.
Yeah.
The Nightcrawler scene that he was about
didn't really make sense.
It didn't make sense.
Like he got bad edibles.
Like he just went nuts.
When he was going like he had that evil smile.
Yeah, he went nuts.
No, he got mad. He was like breaking necks.
He started killing people. Like it was like
what happened?
Okay.
So somebody like stepped on his. Someone stepped on his tail.
It was a cool scene, like the way it was shot. Yeah. But it was just like story-wise, it was like, where is this coming from? Yeah.
Wait, something happened to make him do that.
He killed somebody. Somebody died. But it was like,
no, I think like. Was it Storm got thrown out?
No. Like literally
something happened and then he got mad. He didn't just go like.
Yeah, but it was like the person that I can't remember exactly, but it wasn't that major. Like it wasn't someone that we care about that got hurt. It was just like,
who he cares about.
You know what I looked at it as, because since this is supposed to be like the stuff that happened before all the previous things, like X2 and all that. You know how, I know we're going to get into this later, but in X2, he's pretty much killing a bunch of people, right? In the White House. Yeah. I felt like this was like to show like, oh, this is where he became a killer. That's kind of how I looked at it as, analyzing the other films.
But in
yeah, it is. It pretty much is.
It is.
But they didn't do a good job of explaining
because in X2, he was only killing because he was being controlled by somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, that is right. I totally forgot. Yeah. So it still makes no fucking sense.
There was no point of it. There was no point.
But what I'm trying to say is like, if you watch that sequence, which was a reshoot, watch how that one's shot compared to the previous battle, like on the streets of New York. It is so different with the camera angles that they choose and kind of how they shoot the action and everything. It's so like such a stark difference. That's why that sequence at the end is much better than everything else. And the space mission.
Another thing I liked in this movie, I liked that Cyclops got to do more than he's ever done in any X-Men movie ever.
Yeah.
Like even the way he was using his powers, it was more like in the comic book because like he was using geometry to like, I could bounce it there to like, that's like how he does in the book. And I thought that even though it was ridiculous, that thing he used in the spaceship, the little binocular thing, to like, I thought that
like
was
a turret.
It was so comic book ridiculous.
Yeah, that was actually really.
I'm not mad at that.
Speaking of them, I don't know if it was just me, but did the chemistry between Scott and Jean seem kind of off? It seemed a little awkward.
Yeah, it looks like they didn't eat crafty together.
Yeah.
They didn't really have
over there.
And again, the two great actors.
They're fantastic.
That could have really explored the whole like when your girlfriend makes more money than you, like she has so much more power. Like that dynamic is so would have been so cool for them, and it was just kind of like, oh, I love you, but I gotta go. Like it was a quick.
And that's why I felt like the directing was lacking, because as a director, you're supposed to bring those things out of an actor. And most of the actors look like they seemed lost throughout the entire film. Like, all right, what do I do? All right, I'll just do what I think I'm supposed to do.
I think originally this movie was supposed to be like a 2-part movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
This was supposed to be a 2-parter. From what I read.
Okay.
So I guess the whole, because also
so they forgot the explain shit part.
Probably. And also I remember when they were actually shooting, who played Psylocke in Apocalypse? Olivia Munn. She actually
where did she go? She didn't die in Apocalypse.
No, she didn't. She just disappeared. But I remember her in an interview saying she was supposed to be shooting the next, but I think once that merger happened, like they're like, you guys aren't getting a part 2 of this.
Let's wrap this up.
That's what it felt like, honestly. Yeah.
But I feel like, I think you guys were, I forgot who said it, but like this was supposed to be an ending. I never really, this felt like just some extra, because honestly, Logan to me was like the
definitive same, 100%.
That's how you could have ended it.
And it wrapped it up well.
Yeah.
I had that kind of.
Yeah, and you know what I kind of took also from this one? You know how in Logan, they talk about how, like, you know how the little girl has X-Men comics, and how he talks about like, when we were popular, you know, they made everything of us, like comic books and everything. They were like celebrities. That's how I saw in Dark Phoenix. It shows them being celebrities. So I almost feel like Logan was sort of like a sequel to this one, you know what I mean, in a weird kind of convoluted way. But Logan for me was the true cap of this whole franchise.
I agree.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the old X-Men movie?
Well, we can talk about it.
Do you have any thoughts on Phoenix that you've concerns, things that you actually liked?
I mean, we touched on all of it. I did like the scene where she got to use like some of the Phoenix, you know, when she was like disintegrating people. I'm always a fan of disintegration.
She
turning people into dust.
She did it just like she did in X-Men 3.
She did, yeah.
So I dug that. Again, Quicksilver. I still wanted him to. I wanted him to do a little more.
Yeah.
You guys pretty much said that.
What did you guys think of the villains?
I was literally about to say the same thing.
They were forgettable as hell.
The Dabari.
Very
forgettable villains.
Yeah, there was nothing there that I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
No. They felt like a placeholder for almost.
Even what's the main actress?
Jessica Chastain.
That's probably the most.
She's a great actress. That was underutilized.
Another great actress.
Another underutilized
actress.
Villain, just like Apocalypse.
Was there things, and this might be a question for you, was there things in this film that are in the Phoenix comic series that they didn't use in the previous Phoenix retelling?
I mean, this movie's tons of this movie's nothing. I'm more interested. Like the Dabari are actually aliens that are in the Dark Phoenix saga. They're just like a very they're like that's literally the only time you hear about the Dabari is when Phoenix comes and destroys their planet.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's it.
Oh, so she destroyed their planet.
Yeah, she when
the Phoenix.
Yeah, the Phoenix.
That
she like went and ate like a bunch of planets.
Yeah.
And that's why they like the Shi'ar and everybody want to destroy the Phoenix in the comic book.
Okay. Yeah.
So the Dabari are one of the planets she destroyed.
Is that how they look? Because they look kind of like
they
kind of look.
I don't even know what they look like in this movie.
In their raw, no, you saw them in their raw form, like when they first landed.
Yeah, like
and they all kind of look like Groot in a weird way. Like they had that kind of weird.
They didn't look like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's artistic liberty.
Dabari.
You can make it look however you want.
Originally, I heard they were supposed to be Skrulls. When this movie was being filmed, they were supposed to be Skrulls.
That would be kind of cool.
I can see it now with the shapeshifting.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about the weird 90s setting that didn't even look like the 90s?
I didn't feel
completely
it.
forgot.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
it didn't even feel like it was the 90s.
I'm sure I feel like I saw a Prius.
Time period was lost.
So I had this thought. So the first time we actually see this whole new series, right? It starts in the 60s, then it's the 70s, then it's the 80s.
We're about to talk about their aging.
Yeah, well, not so much their aging, but do you guys feel like this series would have benefited for them staying in the 70s as opposed to trying to jump every 10 years?
Yeah, it didn't have to stay in the same. It could have stayed it could have jumped a few years.
Yeah.
But if all they had to do was age up like Magneto, give him some gray hair every now and then.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Michael Fassbender looked like he just walked out of his trailer.
He looks like it's 3 weeks later.
He looks older than that.
Because if you think about it, X-Men 1 came out in 2000 and this is supposed to be in the 90s. How is Michael Fassbender in 10 years supposed to age into Ian McKellen?
I saw
times been rough, man.
I saw a weird theory online that said that he stepped into that machine that he made in the first X-Men. Remember the one that gives Rogue the white hair?
Yeah.
And that's how he aged up because he tried it on himself?
By this movie...
he Ra's al Ghul
himself. In the second movie, in Days of Future, they should have gave him some streaks and then some more streaks. And then in this movie, they should have just dyed his hair silver or white.
Also, our proximity to the 90s makes it very difficult to do a 90s period piece.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because Captain Marvel really encompassed the 90s.
And they did it in a very novel way of blockbuster, leather jacket, it was very in your face. But I mean, there are 90s cars on the road right now. There are you can't have everybody dressed like Pac. We're not gonna put overalls on Jean Grey. It's fucking weird. So
Nicholas Hoult looks younger than the dude who plays Cyclops.
And he's supposed to be older.
Yeah, he's supposed to be older.
Yeah.
He has not aged.
That definitely was a fault, and it did feel lazy to me because we've seen how you can do the 90s with Captain Marvel. And seeing how they didn't take the time to really kind of take care of that aspect of it felt really lazy. I feel like it would have helped it a little bit, at least with visually how it would have looked.
Well, you gotta remember block out the movie. There's space, nighttime, and the forest. So there's not a lot of place for the 90s to be.
I mean, there's ways.
Were they in the forest this movie?
No, I'm talking about the camp. Magneto's.
Is that supposed to be what's Genosha?
That was it was supposed to be Genosha.
Alluded to,
but that was not Genosha.
That ain't no damn Genosha.
No,
Genosha's supposed to be
they were super futuristic.
It's super futuristic. They were over here building tents.
Yeah, that was Walking Dead camp.
It looked like something.
It did look like Walking Dead.
Get that shit out of here, Alexandria.
It was like Beasts of the Southern Wild. Yeah.
Were they in the? I guess they were in the forest.
They were in the forest.
Every X-Men movie, they're in the forest.
Remember, she had the she brought the helicopters down.
Yeah.
They're in the forest.
There's always a forest scene.
There's always a forest scene.
That's what X-Men staple.
It's how you can cheat it. It's you don't have to do it in the scene. Do it in a scene.
You know why? Because the forest looks the same in the 90s.
Yes.
All right, let's touch back on some of these older gems.
Yeah. Anything else regarding the Phoenix?
No.
All right, cool.
It was okay. It was okay. It was okay.
It's cool.
It wasn't bad.
We love you,
terrible.
Sophie.
Except for me,
I don't regret watching it.
It is okay for movies to be okay.
It's all love, Sophie.
No, for sure. No, I get that. But
this movie was better than I will say it's better than X-Men 3.
And Apocalypse.
It's better than Apocalypse. And it's better than X-Men Origins. Wolverine.
Yep.
I don't even talk about X-Men.
It's better than those three movies.
Yeah,
we don't bring that up. Yeah. But yes, it's better. And again, like all those bad movies have good actors, underutilized.
Yeah. There's good. That's the thing. That's the thing about the X-Men series that we're gonna get into right now. Regardless of the quality of the film overall, there's always good moments that make you just jump out of your seat when you go watch it. Like this one.
Always?
No, I think so.
I think so.
Fine.
I think so.
I can name one good thing about X-Men Origins.
What?
Go ahead.
The beginning with a little time placement where they're
the
like
backstory?
when they're fighting in every war.
Yeah, that's very cool.
The only part I like about that movie.
Yeah.
I lost that one.
Yeah. It's really good, yeah.
Fair.
But the rest of it.
I can't wait for your boy Will.i.am.
What's gonna?
You're like, Will who? But yeah, I mean, like I said, for example, Phoenix, my favorite part was the beginning with the space mission and all that kind of stuff. And The Last Stand, for example, I honestly, my favorite part is that ending part where Wolverine kills Jean. Like that's such a very emotional, very visually great looking.
Yeah, it was very it was very sad
when he had to stab her and shit.
Well, I remember that, but I'm trying to remember I don't really remember.
She like disappeared for a while.
They shot. They were curing them.
Okay.
Yes, that was like the little subplot
with Angel.
Yeah.
So like everybody's being cured.
Angel, I forgot about Angel was in that movie. Yeah.
The best part of that movie for me,
Ben Foster.
Ben Foster, great Angel.
Ben
Foster.
Best part of that movie for me was
Ben Foster
Beast.
gotta be batshit crazy.
Beast. What's his name? Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah. That was his first time when he was Beast,
right? He was fucking trying to cut his wings off.
Yeah.
Oh, that was gross.
Yeah.
I didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
That was.
I didn't like it.
Wasn't that the first time we got Juggernaut? Vinnie Jones Juggernaut?
That was
And he did the famous line.
Yeah.
I think it's the first time memes have kind of crossed over into mainstream.
That's funny.
With the
Juggernaut bitch.
For those too young to remember, back in 2000, was it 2005 or 2000?
Sorry, right around
2005, somebody had dubbed old episodes of X-Men the animated series with this guy just randomly making the Juggernaut say, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch," and it was like this really funny meme that it was like one of the first big YouTube viral videos.
Was it a Vine?
No, it was YouTube.
It was a whole YouTube channel.
I don't have a sense of time.
Yeah,
a couple episodes.
And it was just one of those funny things. Like a lot of us were in college around that time, so it was one of those things where like it was circulated around the dorm rooms and apartments and stuff. And it was funny because when X-Men X3 came out, like there was a scene where Vinnie Jones says, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch," and it was like, at least in my showing, which was a college town, it had this huge eruption.
Of course.
Yeah.
Everybody was just like cheering. It was the first time a meme had transcended into mainstream. Yeah.
Still terrible.
We're not taking that away from you. We're just saying it's props to put.
I mean, I feel like we're almost working backwards.
Props to the internet.
Let's jump to the first one then. Let's talk about the first X-Men film that came out in 2000, which is almost 20 years ago, which is crazy.
Yeah.
What is some of your guys' most memorable?
Put those knives down.
It jump started these superhero movies.
Yeah.
Like
it was before Spider-Man.
It was before Spider-Man.
It was a gamble too.
I think I saw that movie 10 times in the movie theater when it first came out. I don't think I've ever seen it.
I've seen it a couple of times.
I don't
think it was 10.
I think I saw it like 10 times. I'm like, I want to go see X-Men. Let's go see it again.
Yeah.
Like that movie literally made I feel like that movie made a lot of these movies since then possible.
Yeah.
Like
because people don't understand that we had a massive after
there was a drought.
There was a drought. After Batman and Robin, we had a massive drought of. I mean, we had Blade.
I was about to say, y'all better not forget Blade.
See, here's the thing.
Give that man his credit.
Here's the thing about Blade. A lot of people didn't know it was a comic book movie. We did.
Yeah,
we did.
But like
that was,
the mainstream didn't know that. X-Men, I think, was
the for Marvel.
Yeah, it really was.
was.
X-Men was the mainstream characters.
Yes, absolutely.
And so we forgave them for not. I mean, because I remember one of my biggest disappointments was them not having the costumes, like Wolverine not having the helmet and the Cyclops having the blue suit. They had leather. They had leather. It had that late '90s kind of
that Matrix-y.
Matrix was influencing everybody.
It was. We took what we got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and it wasn't a bad movie.
It wasn't a bad movie.
It was good cast.
Yeah. Patrick Stewart pretty much born to play Professor X.
Yeah, Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
I remember looking in before the movie came out, in Wizard magazine.
Yeah.
And they used to have these fan castings in there.
Wizard.
And those used to be so spot on. They were really good fan castings.
They used to have, and like Patrick Stewart was in that back then.
Yeah.
And I think
I might have that one.
I think
it's
I
worth
have
digging
somewhere.
up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up.
But he's always been like, he has to be like Professor X.
Yeah. I love when they get it right.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember Halle Berry being a very, because she was like at the top of her game back then, and so her being cast as Storm was like, I mean, I accepted it, but it wasn't my. I remember it not being my first choice for Storm. For me,
I think
who's your first choice?
Angela Bassett.
Oh,
I think we've never gotten that Storm. We've never gotten like the wise, like mature Storm.
They barely call her by her first name.
Yeah, no, they never call her Aurora. I think at least for the animated series / comic book, we were used to kind of this elegance and like grace to her. And they keep making her like Halle Berry was kind of in nowhere land, and then all the others have been like this rebellious child.
Yeah.
And that's not.
She always seemed younger than she really supposed to be.
The Storm they keep bringing in the movies is like the flashback Storm when she had like the mohawk, when she was like in love with Wolverine. Like, that's the one they keep bringing to the forefront when that's not the one we grew up with. We grew up with like Auntie Storm.
Co-leader.
Yeah, co-leader.
Auntie Storm.
For real. Like co-leader Storm.
Yeah.
She's always been like the co-leader, like when Cyclops is crying somewhere. Like she'd be like,
crying somewhere.
I mean,
soft ass.
What else? Oh yeah, X-Men 1.
X-Men 1,
yeah. What else about the movie? I mean, it was a solid first movie.
Yeah.
If you look at it now, sometimes it looks a little like, but
that's just
it's
the
still,
time.
it's just the time. It's really just the
Just
time.
don't watch it.
No,
That's the
it's
time.
very. I mean, not to get too serious here, but it was definitely a pre 9/11 movie. So you can see the sensibilities of that time very clearly in that. What I do like about it though is like they really went full on with the whole like how humans don't like mutants and that whole like Mutant Registration Act, all that kind of stuff. Like they really went in with the whole like how people were just like hating mutants and stuff. So
I mean, that's what it's been.
That's what it's been, but I like
comic. That was the intention.
No, for sure, but I like that they just went full on with it. Like,
but I guess
they didn't tiptoe around.
When you say that, you can see how clearly they moonwalked right out of that topic. Over because it becomes such a serious issue that they're like, we're not about to use mutants to talk about human nature.
I think, I mean, that's one of the things that always kind of drew me to the X-Men. It was like it was a story about outcasts. You know, like, it was, and I feel like everyone is just like. Felt that way in some sort of way.
That's why everybody had their favorite X-Men.
Did I always feel like when like Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, did you feel like you were one of them because you were like such a nerd and like?
I feel like
I wanted to go.
I feel like I really wanted to go there.
Yeah, exactly.
I really felt it existed. I was like, it has to exist somewhere.
And it was in like Westchester, New York. It was a real place. I was like, I'm gonna track this shit down.
Exactly.
Who I mean, I know, but who's everyone's favorite X-Men just for this topic? Gambit, Beast, Gambit again, Wolverine. Okay, just making sure.
Remy LeBeau, man.
I wish you had a different favorite X-Men.
I know, I wish too.
Okay, so that's not to jump into ahead, but like, how do you guys feel of like Gambit not being in any of these films?
As long
he's
in X-Men Origins.
He's been in X-Men
Origins. Wait. That's why we don't talk about that movie.
Man,
that's right. He was
because he put the kinetic energy in the card, and I was like,
as long as this fucking Channing Tatum movie doesn't get made, you can keep him wherever. Keep him in the books, keep him in the comics, keep him in Evolution or wherever else he's popped up.
You know what? I'll change my favorite to who my second favorite is, and we'll just replace him. It's always been Colossus for me.
Interesting.
And because I remember X2,
you do work out.
X2, I lost my mind when he like changed into Colossus
and he
threw Wolverine, and then he goes, I can help.
That was X-Men.
And then
that was X-Men 3.
He's like, oh, you help them. It's like, I wanted, but.
How do you feel about how Deadpool has interpreted Colossus? I love that interpretation.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's Colossus.
That's Colossus, exactly. That's the Colossus I know.
Yeah.
They should share that one.
Let's X2.
Yeah, let's jump to X2.
Probably one of the best X-Men movies.
Yeah. Well, one of the best comic book films of all time, I feel. One of the best. Yeah.
Aggressive. That's fine.
That's fine.
It's memorable. I mean,
it is very memorable.
You just made me nervous saying that because I'm like, hold on, now I got to think about every.
Yeah.
No, great movie.
Easily one of my top 10.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It is a good movie.
Yeah.
I like a lot. The Nightcrawler scene, that's classic.
Iconic scene.
What else about it? They underutilized Cyclops.
Always. I feel like they've always done that in the series.
And I don't think I've ever walked out of a movie so hot. That movie at the end, when like it goes over the water and you kind of see oh my God. I was so hyped for X-Men 3. I was like,
I can imagine.
Oh my God, they're gonna
Which
do
explains
it.
your disappointment
on your face when X-Men 3 came out.
Like, I've never. That was the most. That was like the greatest thing I've ever seen at that time.
Yeah, that was fresh.
Yeah.
That was the equivalent to like a mid-credit scene. Yeah. Like seeing that.
You know, and I remember it coming when like she's holding the
and she's like
and then
flaming
she's like
up.
starting to flame up. I was like, they're gonna do the Phoenix.
That was like I was like, oh,
so fresh.
I was like, she started turning red. I was like, she's about to turn to the Phoenix, and then she just that was so good.
Isn't that when Iceman went into when he became actual Iceman?
That was number 3.
That was 3?
Yeah.
See, there's a lot of moments in 3 that are cool.
It took him. Okay, it took him.
He didn't do anything.
To be Iceman.
He was over there making flowers and shit.
Okay, I'm trying to remember what happened in X2. Like, I like my
X2. That's when we got Stryker for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we had the great mansion fight too. That as well.
Yeah. Wolverine. That was a good scene too.
Great scene.
Yeah, when he went crazy.
We saw the Colossus scene. That was hype. We had a little cameo from Shadowcat. It was a tiny cameo from Shadowcat.
She jumped through.
Yeah,
there was a lot of different cameos. Wasn't Kitty Pryde in that too?
The Shadowcat.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And what else?
I'm trying to remember the plot.
The plot, it was Stryker. Well, first off, it was like a Wolverine story too, because Stryker.
And it was going like back and forth.
He kind of made.
That's right.
Stryker kind of made Wolverine.
Oh, it was like by his son, right? Wasn't it?
And his son. Yeah. Stryker's son was like controlling. He had that mind control power.
And he looked like Mark Wahlberg at the end of Sixth Sense. Mark, remember his son?
Wait, Mark Wahlberg at the end of Sixth Sense?
Donnie Wahlberg, sorry. Donnie Wahlberg. Yeah,
was Donnie Wahlberg at the end of Sixth Sense?
Yeah, Donnie Wahlberg was the one
when being in database backfired.
Yeah.
No, Donnie Wahlberg shot he shot Bruce Willis. That's who the kid is in Sixth Sense.
That's him?
Yeah, that's Donnie Wahlberg.
Wow.
Did database backfire on you?
Yeah.
You owe me a sandwich.
It didn't backfire. I just don't even know what you're talking about at the time. So you know that Lay's commercial from like 2004? The girl was eating a chip, she dropped it. That was Shadowcat. Like, what are you talking about?
It aired at 3 o'clock in certain parts of LA.
It was only on Windows.
X2 was basically, it was a Stryker. Yeah. Stryker was basically going to kill all mutants using Professor X and his son.
That's right. With Cerebro.
Yeah,
so it was a big Cerebro.
He poisoned Cerebro.
That's right. I remember that. That was very good.
Everyone got a headache.
Yeah.
Everyone got a crazy headache. Which kind of happened in Apocalypse, right?
X-Men, a migraine.
Yeah.
That was like the same thing that happened in Apocalypse. Yeah. Like he used Professor X. Apocalypse used Professor X and was trying to kill everybody.
He's just recycling all the plot, the storylines.
Ooh, that worked.
Yeah.
He just got to turn off Cerebro. That should not work for good. No reason to find anyone.
You know what made me laugh? Not going back to Dark Phoenix, you know what made me laugh when Professor X is like, yes, I built Cerebro, but we forget that Beast was the one who built it.
Well, actually, in the books, Beast did not. It was Professor X and Magneto
because he was moving the metal.
Yeah. But the biggest thing that
would have been cool.
Yeah.
And he never uses it. He always, when he finds a mutant, he goes and talks to their parents. He's not using it for anything.
Yeah.
And then
the first map quest 3.
So let's move to X3. Okay, I just mentioned this scene. No, but see, look, based on your hype from the X2. But no, I was talking about, there's a scene that we were just talking about where we see the first glimpse of the Danger Room and Sentinels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sentinel looked crappy.
Yeah. I mean, I was hyped because I was like...
I was hyped that they existed, but not the execution.
Yeah.
That movie, it was like... because, for one, Cyclops... Again, underutilized Cyclops.
Yeah.
This is probably the worst X-Men movie to me, besides the one we don't talk about. Okay. Colossus looks so good in X2.
Yeah.
And then they changed it and he didn't look as good. Like, the effects didn't look as great.
Yeah.
They nailed it.
Phoenix, I didn't really like. That was more. That was supposed to be the plot, and they made it a side plot to the cure thing.
To the cure of it, yeah.
This movie almost feels like they were trying to wrap it up too. Like it was like this is the end.
Well, because I mean, what was happening behind the scenes is that the original director of X1 and X2 went to go do Superman.
Right, and this was Brett Ratner.
They gave it to Brett Ratner. Yeah. And so there was like a lot of, I mean, it was kind of like a Justice League thing where there was like 2 directors on the movie and stuff. There was moments in X3 that I liked, but I could understand the frustration after coming off of X2.
There was moments there, not even moments.
It's not even how the moments were executed; it's that they happened.
And that's I feel like that's something that's been consistent. Like I said, with this whole franchise, is that the movies might have not been perfect, but there's moments in there that really kind of stir that like childlike wonder inside you. You know.
I think I liked what you brought up when Iceman finally does the full on ice thing.
That was cool.
That was cool.
Waited so long.
And I like Beast. That was like it for me on that movie.
Yeah, that was a good Beast.
Yeah, it was a great actor.
And we just wondered how you got Kelsey Grammer to agree to that.
He was great.
He was really good. That was Beast. That was
that was Beast. That was
yeah. By the way,
how did they anyway?
Yes.
And that's another example of certain things lacking. Like, I remember Halle Berry's accent in X1 was so different to her accent in X3.
She was out there in New York, man.
Yeah.
She was at the bodegas.
I mean, we can say that about Scarlet Witch. And
Sure, the same thing. Same thing. Accents aren't consistent.
The accent coach just wasn't in the budget for this one.
What's after that?
The Wolverine. Well, okay. So
what's after that?
Chronologically, no, listen. So chronologically, in the storyline,
this is where everything gets messed up.
The Wolverine, not Wolverine Origins. The Wolverine is technically.
Oh wait, no, but Origins came out before.
Origins, it did, but it's such a.
That also messed up the timeline because we got a Cyclops, we got a White Queen, and we got somebody else in there that was like.
In Origins.
Yeah.
Towards the end of it.
Towards the end, we got Cyclops and we got White Queen.
Yeah, we should.
I haven't seen this movie. I haven't seen this movie. I don't think I've seen this movie since it first came out on the theater.
But I did like, what's the guy's name? As Sabretooth?
Liev Schreiber?
Liev Schreiber.
Really, he was a good Sabretooth.
Yeah, he was great.
Wait, what's this shit? Ray Donovan.
Yeah.
Ray Donovan.
I really liked him as Sabretooth.
Yeah.
And they had like such a dope like battle throughout.
And I feel like him and Hugh Jackman, like that
they
was
were great.
Good. Like they could be related, could be friends.
Yeah, he was a much better Sabretooth than the guy
in the first one. I don't know.
Tyler Mane. Well, Tyler Mane didn't even get a chance to do it. He's just a big dude.
Yeah,
he was just like, here,
scream for me.
We didn't even talk about. By the way, we didn't even talk about how Ray Park.
Ray Park was Toad. He was Toad, and Ray Park is Darth Maul from you Star
Hot
Wars
off
episode
Phantom Menace. He did.
And by the way, that guy has said maybe 4 lines in some of the biggest films he's ever been in. Because remember, Darth Maul had like 2 lines?
Yeah.
He had more lines in Solo.
Yeah.
I just rewatched that, and he had much more lines in that movie than.
Wow, you have so much time on your hands. Crazy.
Inner turmoil between the cast.
We're revealing a little too much. Right?
We're not even drinking this episode.
No.
Yeah, it's
early.
It's our first episode.
It's early.
Yeah, and it's early. So we're talking about the Wolverine Origins, right? Gambit, which I had forgotten about.
Yeah, let's just mold both of these Wolverine movies together.
Okay, but here's the thing. I liked the Wolverine much more. Like
it was good.
It was
wasn't too bad
because it was such a weird little standalone movie that I was like, this is what. It feels like it just felt like a one-off issue, which it was. You know what I mean?
I feel like the Wolverine is exactly how I feel about Dark Phoenix. It's fine. Like it wasn't bad.
Right.
It wasn't
Exactly.
Well, you think Dark Phoenix is bad, but it was just
this
like
one was medium. This was pretty like
it was
middle
just
of the
like,
road.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah. And it was technically, honestly, it was technically a sequel to The Last Stand because it's pretty much the aftermath of Logan's kind of reaction and feelings after killing Jean.
Right.
Yeah. Like he's kind of suffering from that, his PTSD.
Did she have a cameo in there? Did Femke?
She did. It was like in flashbacks.
Yeah. Okay.
Then after that was.
After that, well, actually, no.
Class?
Yeah, no. First Class came before the Wolverine because at the end of the Wolverine, we got that like mid-credit scene where Wolverine is in the airport and we see that Professor X and Magneto.
That's right, and it leads into Days of Future Past.
There's a commercial of Sentinels.
That's right.
But yeah, First Class.
First Class was awesome.
First Class was really good.
Every time it comes on, I watch First Class because it's.
I think it was such a surprise too because. We were like, why are they rebooting it again? You know what I mean? Why are they trying to do? Yeah. And it was like from the casting of Professor X and Magneto, like McAvoy and Fassbender, fantastic. Because I remember hearing that was supposed to be the what's it called? Like the Magneto origin story. Remember they wanted to do a whole series?
Yeah, and they did.
And they essentially did.
Yeah, that was dope.
Which, again, when you let a good actor act, he'll give you the story you need.
That whole Nazi hunting scene was iconic, man.
Yeah. When Shaw made him shoot his mom, when Shaw shot his mom because he couldn't move it, I was like, oh.
And he was killing people with the coin. And fresh.
What I remember, but this also goes back to me having like loving the X-Men and having really low expectations for these movies.
Yeah.
When the promo art and stuff came out for this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks terrible. I didn't understand. I was like, first class. Like,
I don't remember what the promo art was. I remember the logo.
There was like a picture of everyone like in makeup, and it was like their faces all like next to each other, and everyone just looked terrible. I'm like, who is this person? And I'm like, I didn't know what was going on. And but then I saw them and I was like, wow, this was really good.
Yeah, man.
And I don't think before then I ever really saw anything. No, that's not true. Before this, I didn't really. The only thing I knew Michael Fassbender from was what's that movie? It's
what was he in before?
Michael Fassbender, he was in Inglourious Basterds.
There it is. Yeah, that's the only time I
remember
saw.
When he said
was Inglourious Basterds
when he ordered.
Yeah, it was.
The German.
Yeah. No, I know, but I was wondering if First Class...
It was before. That's what launched him.
That's where I knew him from. I was like, okay, that guy's playing Magneto.
You know that people never talk about who was super hard every scene he was in? Azazel.
Oh,
Nightcrawler's dad?
Yeah. I was about to say, Kevin
Bacon's character? Every time he showed up, he was just like, he was back, Azazel.
Yeah. But you know what's funny? You know what's funny about that is like, watching that movie and them introducing the Azazel character and they got Mystique, I'm like, oh, they're gonna set up how like Nightcrawler's
That's
born.
what I thought too.
I know. That's another missed opportunity. You could have done that real quick.
So many missed opportunities.
You did it real quick.
Yeah. Who else was in it? There was a lot more.
And then
Zoe Kravitz was dope.
Zoe Kravitz was amazing.
Like, I mean, the kid who played Banshee was also in Get Out.
Yeah.
The dude, I actually liked his Banshee. It was good. And then they had Havoc, who they made older than Cyclops, which was weird to me.
Yeah, right, because he's supposed to be younger than
exactly. But they were like, yo, we need a summer, so let's like just flip it over.
Yeah.
Let's just lie.
Yeah. That was cool. One of my really favorite scenes in that movie was when they're all in that house and they're all like checking each other's power out.
Yeah, that was fun.
Does her wing.
Yeah.
Then they got blown to bits.
Yeah. By Azazel.
That sucks though. That sucks. I really wanted to see them more in battle.
I also liked Wolverine's cameo in there when they were like recruiting.
And
he's
the only F-bomb in the movie.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah, like that they were recruiting and he was just like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
So that was a good one.
That was a really good one. That's probably the next best one to me after
X2.
X2,
yeah.
The next one is probably the best in the series, Days of Future Past, right?
Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
That one was
really good.
That one was fun, man.
It made sense because it was like how they meshed both casts, and there was the passing of the torch. I thought that was fantastic.
Introduced Bishop beautifully.
Yeah.
I was like, I had been waiting for Bishop, and I was
excited about Blink.
Yeah.
I was always a big Age of Apocalypse fan.
Yeah.
Of the book, so them showing Blink and her using the portals.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. Even when she died, I was like, wow, she died using her portals.
My favorite thing about that movie is seeing Magneto and Xavier working together.
Yeah.
Like whenever they're on the same side, they're amazing.
Yeah. And let's not forget about the Quicksilver scene, which is
that was
amazing,
fantastic. Even just like technically how it was shot, like it was like super high speed cameras, super bright lights, and it was fantastic.
Wait, you're talking about the Time in a Bottle one?
Yeah.
When he
in the kitchen.
Yeah, so dope.
Yeah. There was really great moments in that I'm trying to think.
The whole movie.
Yeah.
From start, you were just like
Peter Dinklage.
Yeah. Iceman doing Iceman things. That was cool.
Iceman go Iceman.
Iceman.
Yeah, that was good.
But it was fantastic, and I feel like that ending where it shows like Wolverine kind of waking up in like the future and seeing the castle, that was like I think the perfect send off for that.
You know what's funny? Okay, they did all that to like fix the timeline and then messed it up again. Messed it up again after that.
Yeah,
it's true.
Who knows, man?
That's what happened.
And then that leads us to Apocalypse.
Ivan Ooze. Can you do that again?
Do we really need to talk about this? We already reviewed.
Yeah, we already.
It was whatever.
Did we review Apocalypse?
Apocalypse looked like Ivan Ooze. Oscar Isaac's a great actor.
Oscar Isaac is an incredible actor.
Why just happened?
Why didn't you let that man do his thing?
There's some things that they could have done better. They should have.
Like the movie.
Yeah. Yes.
But
like. that movie. I don't totally hate that movie.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Even when I walked it out, I remember we saw it together.
It felt like a cartoon.
It felt like a cartoon.
Yeah.
It felt like I was watching an X-Men animated series Saturday morning cartoon.
It wasn't bad, but it was.
It was bad, but it was like cartoony bad. It was it was like.
I do have one gripe.
It was cheesy.
Remember Jane? She had the Phoenix powers, but then like.
Not consistent.
I forgot about that. Yeah. She killed Apocalypse with the Phoenix powers.
It's not consistent.
Where do you get that from?
It wasn't consistent. Like none of these movies are consistent.
Yeah.
What happened? Just rewind back real quick. Where did Wolverine go when Mystique captured him at the end of Days of Future Past?
Listen, this whole time.
He ended up in Logan. That's what happened.
Yeah, I'm like, what happened?
He didn't pop up till Logan.
This whole timeline is like Memento. Like it's like just all over the place.
Yeah.
What was the point of bringing out those Mr. Sinister the Essex
That's
group?
right. That's right.
Where is he?
I thought they shot an entire thing.
They're saving it.
They're
saving Mr. Sinister for the MCU,
Good.
which they're gonna right all the wrongs. So,
but you're right. Like I feel like they just wanted to see if they could survive without Wolverine, and they just like let's take him out and see if it works. But it kind of fell apart. Yeah. You know, they built this franchise. They built this franchise so much on Wolverine that, like, if you take him out, it kind of makes the entire thing collapse a little bit because they haven't developed everybody else except for like Xavier and Magneto. You know?
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. That leads us to Logan.
Amazing.
The true send off.
Yeah,
true send off.
Like, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
I don't.
For me, that's the true ending of this entire.
Yeah.
What do you got? Sorry,
franchise. Go ahead.
What do you guys want from? We saw this movie to get it over with.
Yeah.
So we could get to the MCU stuff.
Yeah.
So
right.
What do you guys want?
Felt like coming in your senior year.
Like we've been saying, like Mr. Sinister.
Is that who we would like?
That's who I would like to see because we've seen the Magnetos.
I would like them to give a break on Magneto for a little bit.
Or Night of the Sentinels storyline from the very first. I always thought that the very first episode of the animated series could be something that can be like.
I really want to see Storm have a bigger role than she did. And I feel like the best way, obviously, to integrate her is with Black Panther.
Black Panther, too. Yeah.
And I want to see that. I want to see her sort of kind of like how they did with Spider-Man. They didn't have this crazy big origin, but he just kind of was integrated into the world because of another character. So I kind of want them to do that. I wanted to start with Storm and then start integrating all these other characters in different ways. You know?
I don't want to like give him too much credit, but I would really love for what Julien said to happen from the underwater stuff to
starting with Namor.
Namor as the first mutant, and then open up this world.
The battle between Wakanda and Atlantis.
Wakanda versus Atlantis, and then use that to turn into the X-Men.
Villain wise, I wouldn't mind Sinister, but I would like that be more of like a built up thing, like
a Thanos,
like a Thanos in the back
for the X-Men. Build that up for him.
Yeah.
Like,
so who would you like to see first shot?
You know what? Using Storm, I would like to see. Oh my gosh, the I can't remember his name right now. He's like a Professor X and a Storm villain. And he has like psychic powers, and he goes into people's. Oh, he was the villain on Legion. Oh my god!
I don't watch the series.
I feel bad. I haven't seen Legion.
I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name.
It's okay.
I'll think of it in a second.
He's not the main guy from Legion, is it?
No, he's the villain.
The villain of Legion. Okay.
He like goes into people's bodies. He's a psychic. He's a really strong like psychic villain.
He sounds terrifying.
I want to see. He looks scary in the.
Look it up.
The books. I can't remember his name though.
What about you? What do you think?
Who would I want to see to kick off X-Men?
It's hard because
I think it would be cool. Like some other villains that I would like to see. Like I would love to see the Savage Land and maybe see Sauron.
Yeah,
Sauron would be cool. Mojo would be interesting. Arcade would be interesting.
I would like to see.
Wow, Arcade would be fun because that's like
that
game that forever haunts me.
What was like the underground, the sewer?
The Morlocks.
The Morlocks. I think that would be
fun. The Morlocks would be cool.
And that would like.
Okay, I just thought about something. So the way they could like build up to Mr. Sinister, they could do the storyline where Sinister's team, the Marauders, they like go down in the sewers and like kill all the Morlocks. They like take them all out, and that's also when Sabretooth? Yeah, Sabretooth like rips off like
don't know the bad guy.
Angel's Wings.
Oh.
Under there, and they like.
No idea.
Julien, who's the bad guy? I don't know who the actor is. Who's the bad guy?
Her.
Oh, okay. So her character is called Lenny?
No.
Hold me.
Let me see.
Yeah, Lenny. Let's use Lenny.
Amal Farak, but he has a name. Amal Farak. Amal.
You're looking at IMDb.
Yeah, here I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all good.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just excited what the MCU is gonna do.
Yeah, it's just gonna be dope.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I think it's really. I'm more so excited about exchanges and Captain America and I guess we can't use Captain America, but
Yeah. Characters meeting
characters
each other.
meeting
Yeah.
each other, exactly.
Yeah.
Like maybe Spider-Man when he goes to the
Yeah.
X-Men.
The Shadow King.
Shadow King.
There it goes.
The Shadow.
The Shadow King. There it goes. I would like
Julien
that.
does this, by the way.
Yeah.
That's kind of his thing. He goes quiet for a little bit. It's like, I got it.
Eureka!
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see a Spider-Man ask the X-Men for help on something, or any of those crossovers. I've been rooting for Kraven for a long time, so I think that would be a cool pivot point, and it covers a lot of different people that could deal with it.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking how what I liked that Endgame did was that it established different teams that I didn't think of. You had the team, you had obviously the Guardians, but you had the Asgardians, you had all the sorcerers and the wizards and stuff, and I was the idea of different teams being formed. So you have the X-Men, eventually the Fantastic Four, and then the Avengers. I'm excited just to see all these big teams get together.
Oh,
I said the interactions.
Absolutely, and I definitely want to say on camera so we can get our flag in the ground. When we talked about Keanu Reeves being in conversations with Lord Feige, who did Julien say would be perfect?
Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer.
Keanu Reeves. You know
Johnny
Silver
Utah.
Surfer.
Johnny Utah.
Johnny Utah.
Sucks
Silver
again.
Surfer.
That's all we need.
Keanu Reeves should be the Silver Surfer.
That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Cut the check.
Yeah. Just hire us to cast.
Kind of an overall kind of closer to this X-Men stuff. I feel, at least I'm going to say from my perspective, I'm glad to what it gave us. Mm-hmm. We finally saw the X-Men on the big screen after literally being raised on the cartoons.
Yep.
And it gave us an iconic Wolverine that he will forever be associated with Wolverine.
Absolutely.
In the best way possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'm thankful to what Fox did. You know what I mean? Yeah. Regardless of how I felt about
that often.
Regardless of what I felt about Phoenix, it was bittersweet because I was this is ending an era. You know what I mean? And I'm obviously welcoming the new era, but I'm thankful.
More than a decade.
Yeah, more than a decade. More than a decade. Almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful for what they gave us. We finally saw it on the big screen, and I'm ready for the next chapter.
Yeah. But we still get Deadpool.
We still get Deadpool.
We still get Deadpool.
Actually,
do you have any words?
there's a DP right here. Look at
With the X-Men
look at what he's
jersey.
wearing.
That's perfect.
He gets to stay.
He lucked out. Ryan Reynolds lucked out.
He's the only one with X-Men merch.
Yeah.
In this whole universe.
Yeah. Do you have anything to say?
I think you said it
Yeah, you said
perfectly.
Yeah.
It gave us some gems and some stuff I'll forever be happy about. But come on, let's get it over to the MCU.
Yep, bring it home.
Let's bring it home.
Get a gambit we could be proud of.
Yes, I think they won't fail us.
Let's go to New Orleans. Get an Assassin's Guild, Thieves Guild. Mm-hmm. Let's run that storyline.
They'll do it.
I would have a lot of fun with that.
Lord Feige won't fail us.
Lord Feige never fails us.
Cool. I think this concludes this episode. Do we have anything else?
No.
Yeah. But like I said, we're going to be here for a while. We're going to be doing this with Sideshow. And so if you want to look at more information on us, go to cooltablepodcast.com. You can find us on Twitter at cooltablepod, Instagram cooltablepodcast. And look for us on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. Look for Nerds at the Cool Table. Please rate and review us.
Yes.
We're always very appreciative of it. We love it.
And David will pay you, actually, if you want.
He will.
Just add him in his comments. Just say, I want my money.
And shout out.
Shout out to Sideshow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sideshow, for having us.
Everyone's awesome,
and letting us kind of rant. We could go on all day.
Yeah, we could keep this going.
We could keep going, but
I could start.
The hardest part of doing this show is keeping it in.
Yes. Thanks so much to this crew. Amazing. Thank you guys for this.
Yes,
for helping us out. And I am David. You can find me at David Gallardo.
Youssef at YGLA.
At Julien Edwards on everything.
At Jazen.
It's with a Z.
With a Z.
Yeah.
Zorro.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.